Hi everyone, this is a tutorial for the ladder back jacquard technique. Now this is a different way of catching your floats on the wrong side of your work, and it's a technique that you use where you have, for example here in this pattern, lots of rows where you need to catch your contrast colour in the same place. Now you don't have to use this technique, you can use the normal catching the floats on the wrong side, but I find that if I'm catching floats lots of times in the same area, you can end up with it showing on the right side of your work, which obviously you don't want. So this ladder back jacquard technique, it still catches the floats, but it catches them in a different way, and I'm going to demonstrate how to do it now. So here I'm working on a sleeve, and I've just reached the point where I'm going to have, I'm going to start working this gap of lots of main colour stitch without any contrast colour stitch. So I'm going to set up the ladder back jacquard technique here. So for the first row, you work until roughly the middle of this run of main colour, and where you reach the place where you want to start your ladder back jacquard technique, the first time what you do is you create a stitch of contrast colour with a backwards loop. Now, I've also seen some tutorials that recommend using the lifted increase, but I found that was actually visible, so I don't recommend that. I prefer the backwards loop cast on. So you take your contrast colour, twist it around your finger like that, and then pop it onto the right needle. So that's the backwards loop cast on, and what you've done there is added a stitch of contrast colour to your right needle. That's all you do for the first round. You carry on working, repeating that every time that you need to. And where you need to knit your contrast colour stitches, you just work them exactly as you would do normally. What you should see on your needle though is this extra stitch of contrast colour. Okay, so I've worked that first setup round where I've added my backwards loop of contrast colour to set up the ladder back jacquard technique. Now I'm going to show you what you do on subsequent rounds when you reach that stitch. So I've been working in pattern and I've reached one of these backwards loop of contrast colour. Now before you do anything else, the most important thing is that your main colour comes to the front of your work and out the way there. You can then knit into that stitch. You bring your main colour back to the back of your work, and then you're ready to carry on working. The reason the main colour must come to the front is so that it doesn't get itself tangled in these stitches of contrast colour that are going to be on the wrong side of your work. You don't want your main colour to be tangled up in those, so it always comes to the front of your work while you knit into that contrast colour. Okay, so once you have worked all the rounds that you need to, where you've got this long stretch of main colour and you're creating this ladder back jacquard technique to catch your floats. Once you have finished that and you want to get rid of this contrast colour stitch, all you do is you knit two together with your main colour. Okay, I'll show you that again. So all you do is when you reach your contrast colour for the ladder back jacquard technique, you knit it together with the next main colour stitch using your main colour yarn. So simple as that, and then the stitch disappears back to the back of the work, and on the wrong side you have caught your stitches. I'll show you on the body for a part that I've already finished. Here I've used the ladder back jacquard technique, and I've caught the stitches on the wrong side there using that technique. Okay, I hope that helps.